Hey there UKDCers, this is the review of my MecArmy EK3RC. This was about £120 on Heine. This is the version with the, it's got the glow-in-the-dark carbon fibre. If you've seen my unboxing for this, you know that I didn't have very high expectations for this knife. This was a bit of a shitter. But, do you know what? Maybe it's not that simple. Get it in this box, which is, nice enough. Like a little pelican case with a little foam. Let's get rid of that. It is one-hand openable, which is nice. Get a nice big old belly there. It's comfortable enough. The action on this, there's no half stop, which I like, and it's a weak spring. I wouldn't say it's strong. Spring strength chart will be up on screen now for you. It breaks very easily, like you can see. It does spring back a little bit, but as soon as you get past there, which is no effort at all really, there you go. Spine whacking though, it doesn't break under a spine whack test really, so it's not all bad. You've got captive pivots, captive bolts and captive pivot there. Actually, none of those bolts are captive whatsoever. The ones on the back spring, the two back ones, the T6s, are held in by spring tension, so that doesn't matter so much. But the pivot is completely free spinning. I mean, they're all free spinning, but that's got no tension on it, so to have any hope of getting that out, you need to put tension on the blade by bending it. Otherwise, it's just going to free spin, which is one of the major issues that was in my first impressions. I can't believe I forgot it in this review. Also, I didn't mention this anywhere else here, so I'll mention it now. The free spinning thing in the carbon fibre, I glued that in, and it's working fine now, as long as it's not over tightened, I imagine. So, sort of fixed, I guess, but still ridiculous. And it's, what is it? It's all T6 and then it's T8 for the pivot, I think. But that said, they've made the mistake of setting the receivers for these, the nuts for these bolts, into the carbon fibre. And this one, just on the end, the leftmost one, the nut actually broke free from the carbon fibre and just started spinning in place, so I couldn't get this pocket clip off. That was a whole kerfuffle. If you want to get really angry, go and watch that video. I was ultra disappointed in this knife back then. I really was. Made me pretty sad, to be honest. It did also result in a crack in the carbon fibre when I was trying to disassemble it. Just there, you can see. Luckily, it's basically covered by the pocket clip, so I don't really see it anyway. It also has all these weird little flecks out of the carbon fibre. It has, like, look at, what's this bit? Like, this bit's, like, sort of not glossy like the rest of it. It's odd. That it looks really rough. I have tried to smooth it over with some fine, like, ultra fine grit sandpaper, and I think it's sort of worked okay. It's less obtuse and rough than it was, but it's still, it's like that bit. Look at that. What's going on there? I don't know. It's just the way the carbon fibre is in the, like, glow in the dark resin, but I don't like it. I do wish I'd got just the standard titanium version now. I really do like carbon fibre, and I think if this had just been done a little bit better, this carbon fibre would look great. Ditch the glow in the dark shit, but just have standard carbon fibre on this, and I think this would have been amazing. As such, yeah, it is what it is. This blade is M390. As you can see, it says on it about there. It also says MecArmy and EK3RC just underneath that. You do get a lanyard hole. You get this tip down only pocket clip, which is just wanky. And do you know what else really annoys me? It's ambidextrous opening hole, so you can open this left-handed. The pocket clip isn't changeoverable. Not only can you not make this tip up, but you can't even make it left-handed. This is just so easy to be a left-handed knife. Just 3 little screw holes there, but I mean they screwed it up on this side, so. Grip on this. Do you know what? It's actually pretty good. Sort of the way the handle curves really sort of snugly pushes your fingers into that little groove. There's no jimping or anything weird. There's just this nice smooth bit if you want to push down the blade for whatever reason. Otherwise you can just put your thumb just there and it stays fine. No issue. The grip's pretty great. This pocket clip is nice and big and it doesn't interfere with your hand at all. Your palm just rests on it, and look, it's that little bit there. This just falls into it. I cannot fault the grip of this. It's actually all right. Fit and finish is fucking garbage on this knife. Again, if you want to actually see what I'm talking about, just go and 2x speed my first impressions, and it's just so many little things they could have done on this that would have just made it better. Like I said, the scales weren't finished properly, that screw was shit, and you have to remove this pocket clip to get to the pivot. I don't even think it was a captive pivot, actually. I don't think any of these were captive. I think that was the other bullshit thing. I think I had to push the blade over to get that out, and there's no tool on this side to hold it. Yeah, it's just stupid shit like that. So, that... edge retention on this, I've sharpened this once. When I first got it, after using it at work, the edge dulled pretty quickly, so I gave it an edge back. And I have carried this a few times, warmed it up in the lights at work and then show my colleagues, like, hey, look at that, it glows in the dark. And they're like, you're a child. So, that was fun. Yeah, it's fine. Of course it is. It's M390, so if it actually hadn't kept a fine edge for that long, I would have been pretty pissed. It seems like it's alright M390. My Lion Steel Dom did not stand up that well. That dulled pretty quick, but that's a known issue with that model specifically. I think Lion Steel are getting better, but I'm no expert. But I can happily say the M390 on this definitely did better than the M390 on that Lion Steel Dom. It's also incredibly thin behind the edge, like really thin behind the edge, which actually makes it one of the sliciest knives I've got, and I hate that because I hate the rest of this knife. So, what are we at? 12 thousandths behind the edge? That's pretty good. And it goes up to a blade stockness of 86 thousandths. But if you look at it head on, you can sort of see that it is a little bit, it's hollow ground. Yeah, very slightly. It's not a huge crazy hollow grind, but it definitely you can see it there really good. See, it's a little hollow grind there. Centering on this, yeah, it's not perfect, but I don't know. I can't complain at that. It's whatever. I mean, I suppose I can make it perfect. No, I don't think. I think because of the way this is, and you can't tighten both sides of the pivot at the same time, it's actually really difficult to get this tight enough to work all that shit, and then I'd have to take this off to reset. It's a Pain in the ass, this knife to modify or take apart or do any of that shit with. Blade play? No, nothing, because I've put this back together. Why would I let there be blade play left on it? So let's have a look at it versus other knives. Stats on the screen there, if you care. There's a 940. There's a mini grip. And there's a Bad Boy Paramilitary 2. There's a Pioneer, which it's just a little bit smaller than. There's the UK PK, which it's also a little bit smaller than. And there's the little Diddy Victorinox SD, which it's obviously bigger than. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Glow-in-the-dark carbon fibre, fuck off. What's the point? Super Steel Steve was talking about this on one of their Sharp Talk podcasts, and I felt personally attacked having bought this knife. He made the very good point of, this is going to be in your pocket the whole time, so it's never going to be charged from the sunlight, of course. Also, who fucking cares? Like, it's there's just no point. It's, you know, such a stupid gimmick. Like I said, I did sort of want to see what the glow-in-the-dark stuff was all about. Mainly, though, I actually think the carbon fibre, if it was finished a little better, would look really nice on this knife. I think it works quite well. It's just little horrible standout bits like that there and like that bit, and like, look, the rest of this is all smooth one gloss, and then you got these horrible little weird chunks, and they are chunks that are, you can feel them with your nail when you run across it. It's like gloss, what is that? So it's not like it's just whatever. There is some weird finishing issue with this, and it's probably due to the inclusion of that stupid glow-in-the-dark stuff. I don't, you know, I'm a bit bored of all metal knives, like, you know, and I don't like the look of this one when it's in all steel or all titanium. But if you're going to get the M390 one, I would suggest just getting the titanium scales. At least that would absolve this problem as well, because it's in metal, so it shouldn't, you know, spin free. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say I bought the very worst possible version of this knife, because in use, I really didn't hate this. Having it in my pocket and then pulling it out to use it, this thing was actually a really good little worker. Glid through cardboard, glid through paper, glid through the lot of it. It's a really nice, like, thickness behind the edge, super thin blade, hollow grind. The blade finish is pleasant, except for whatever that is. Is that like a burnt bit on the blade or something from where they were heat treating it? That came with that. I haven't put a single mark on this blade, I don't think. Even if I had, though, it'd be hard to tell because it's a lovely stonewash finish. It's just such a shame that it's just this. The scales really fucked it. The non-captive pivot fucked it. There is another version of this, aside from the M390 expensive ones. You can get a much cheaper version of this in N690. If you still like the idea of just the shape of this, where it's all belly, one hand opening, it's a great thickness behind the edge, it's really slicey, hollow ground. If you don't mind tip down carry only, the ergos are great on this. I'd say avoid the more expensive variants. I think, unless you really like titanium scales, that's a bit bland, and just don't buy the carbon fibre glow in the dark thing. Just don't do a me. Other than those two problems, I think the lower end options are actually pretty compelling, and I really wish I'd bought one of them instead, because I think I'd have given this a glowing review, bar the pocket clip if I had. That's the other thing. The pocket clip is massive. You're gonna have that showing out your pocket. It's gigantic. That said, very, very smooth, great ramp on that, you know. Decent tension. So it's a very functional and very comfortable pocket clip. It's just stupid scales and weird design choices like the pivot. I think this is, like I said, if it still piques your interest, buy the cheaper one. Don't splash out for this crap. Just buy the one that's lower end materials and will ultimately be better. So, thank you very much. Cheers.